The issues around labor migration governance in Africa are very crucial at different levels. First, in 2019, the African constituents of the ILO got together and they decided that for Africa to transform, there has to be an advancement of social justice. And that it is based on social justice that the future of work that Africa wants will be developed. And in doing so, they unpacked to see what issues had to be dealt with for us to advance social justice in Africa. One of the issues was improving social and labor protection, in the sense that it was recognized that if we don't have social justice anchored in those realities, Africa will not transform. We need to address the issues of unemployment among young people. We needed to address the issue of skills, of child labor, of social dialogue, of standards. And on labor protection, the issue of migration was important and remains important. Because social justice says that everyone should have the opportunity to, one, contribute to the development of wherever they are, but also the opportunity to benefit from the outcomes of these initiatives. So with the focus on promoting effective labor migration governance, we're supporting countries as the ILO to be able to translate these aspirations into reality, breaking them down into the standards that they need to ratify and implement, supporting skills and the transfer of skills, supporting the different government institutions, labor, home affairs, foreign affairs, all working together in a way that they are capacitated, that they're not doing this just, in an ad hoc manner, but in a systematic and strategic manner, having the necessary data that will help them make the policies and monitor the implementation of the policies, but also providing the space for workers' organizations and employers' organizations to be at the table. These are some of the areas that we bring to the table. Of course, gender, addressing the different needs of women and men, even as we promote this effective governance, addressing issues around recruitment in a way that promotes fair globalization, but also fair migration. So these are the things that we bring to the table, and it's important for us to understand the context and also the specifics. We have projects at different levels in Africa. We're supporting the AU with the Joint Labor Migration Program, where we're partnering with the IOM and the AU. But also we have this at REC level. So we have with the ECOWAS, this is in West Africa, we have with SADC in Southern Africa, we have country level programs in IGAD as well. But why I'm here in Vic Falls is to be part of the conversation, which is inclusive, on effective governance of labor migration in the SADC region. And it's really amazing that we have ministers from these major parts of the government that are coming together to discuss. And then we have different countries. Some are sending countries, some are receiving countries, some are also intermediaries, but you also have some that are all three. Yeah, many countries are all three. And it's to really see how do we move from talk to concrete action. How do we tap into the expertise of the ILO that has the mandate for issues around decent work for social justice, the IOM, that is the UN Organization for Migration, which has its own remit, and then other partners like HCR, UNODC, coming together to see how we make a difference in the SADC region. And I'm really pleased that we're working together as partners, not as competitors. Because at the end of it all, It's to make a difference, to bring the different expertise to the table. One of the key values that the ILO brings to the table here, beyond the fact that we're 103 years old, and we have extensive and valuable expertise, is that we're a tripartite organization. We have the convening power at global, continental, sub-regional, and national levels to bring these three key actors together: workers, employers, and governments as equal partners to decision making. So, but in addition to that, the ILO is a normative organization. The standards that govern the effective functioning of the world of work is developed in the ILO with the effective engagement of the tripartite partners. And in the area of labor migration, we have very important standards that member states must ratify to demonstrate that they want to make a change. And it's not just ratifying them. Implementation is super, super important. The earliest standard is Convention 97 on migrant employment for migrant workers. And then we have a more recent one, being that it's not quite as old as 97, and that's the Convention 143 with a recommendation that supports it. We also have other conventions like Convention 111, and this Convention 111 is very important, not just for migrant workers, but also looking at the gender dimension. And it looks at how you treat everybody equally, irrespective of their gender, their race, or their country of origin. And more recently, and I'm really proud that the ILO was able to develop that standard as part of its centenary celebration. And that's Convention 190, looking at issues of violence and harassment at work. All these standards, there are a lot of other standards, but these standards are very important for providing the necessary guidance, I will put it, the necessary obligations of member states to be able to ensure that they harness fully the resources, the opportunities, the talents that migrants bring to the table. In the conversation that I had with ministers yesterday, it was very enlightening to hear from one of the ministers, the minister from Namibia, because of his background from Home Affairs, his lens, and this was typically the case, and I say was, because it's changing. The typical understanding of migration was that these are people, pick them, they're non-nationals, pick them, throw them out, because they're a threat to national security, they're a threat to peace. No. The orientation and understanding now is that we need to harness all resources, nationals and non-nationals, provide the framework for effectively providing them with opportunities to contribute. When you look at IT and those key people driving IT globally, many of them are migrants. They're not nationals. Look at the US and see those who are really innovating. Many of them are migrants. And so if you don't fully harness this opportunity, you're depriving yourself as a country of these opportunities. And then, of course, it means we're working against social justice. And without social justice, there can't be lasting peace. And we want peace in the sub-region. And just finally, the focus of the DG, the first African Director General of the ILO, is to promote social justice. It includes social justice for everyone, everywhere, including migrants. So these standards help us to be able to translate that into concrete action. And the fact that we work with different institutions, it just shows that, yes, we can, but it has to be together.